Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Greene Space, those of you who are here with us in the Greene Space, and those of you who are joining us via our live stream. I'm John Schaefer, the host of Soundcheck and the larger New Sounds empire here at WNYC. And it's just so great to be able to do this again, to be in a room with live musicians and people. Musicians are people, but you know what I mean. So Percussion is a band that has always taken a very, very broad view of what percussion means. And Jason Treuting's ambitious new piece called 9 Numbers really kind of explodes what your expectations of percussion might be. To say nothing of the fact that we also have the Bergamot String Quartet joining them for at least 2 of the 3 pieces that we'll be hearing tonight. Jason will tell us a little bit about the big idea that's animating 9 Numbers, but first, we're going to hear one of those 9 numbers. Here's a live performance of number 8 by Percussion and the Bergamot String Quartet.
This is a. This is a puzz. This is a puzzle. The puzz. The puzzle. The puzzle is. The puzzle is 1,
9, 2,
4,
5, 6,
3,
7, 8,
7,
3,
9,
2,
1,
6,
6,
8,
7,
3,
9,
2, 4,
2,
7,
6,
9,
8,
3,
3,
6,
1,
4, 7,
5,
9, 2,
9,
1, 5,
2,
8, 3,
4,
6, 7,
4,
2, 1,
3,
6,
7,
8,
5,
6, 9,
8,
7, 4,
2,
1, 3,
8,
7, 3,
5,
1, 2,
6,
4, 9.
That is 9 numbers, number 8, composed by Jason Treuting, joining me at the microphone here in the Greene Space, and played live by the group of which he is a founding member, Percussion, which features Adam Slawinski, Eric Cha Beach, and Josh Quillen, as well as the members of the Bergamot String Quartet, who will be back momentarily without instruments, because Jason, a fair amount of 9 numbers consists of the kind of interlocking interplay of voices chanting the numbers from 1 to 9. What's the significance of 9 numbers?
Well, so 9 numbers comes from these sudoku puzzles, of which I was never even a huge fan until I put together that it's just an endless, treasure trove of pattern for music making, and I love pattern. So since then, I've gotten very into sudoku. But 5 years ago, I just saw it as patterns to explore, and the idea is that each piece starts kind of saying, "This is just a puzzle, and it's these numbers," and hopefully at some moment, it translates from a kind of game or a translation into something more than that.
Now, in the game, in the puzzle, Sudoku, you can't repeat a number, right? So
Yep.
you have to use all 9 numbers.
Yep, and it's a 9 by 9 matrices. So you have to go 1 through 9 on every line, on every column, and then in every kind of square box of 3. So it's just
3 by 3 square
each 3 by
within
3
the
square.
larger.
That's right.
So in none of those columns will a number repeat.
Exactly.
And it didn't occur to me until I was just now listening to this performance. It's kind of like 12-tone music.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't
I'm
that
having an
weird?
identity crisis a little bit, John.
The idea of the tone row, where you don't repeat a note until all 12 notes have been used.
Yeah, and we were chuckling during rehearsal because the last 9 notes that we all just kind of lay out is very much just like a tone row laid out. But the thing that that's different, I think, is that I choose the scale of 9 pitches that I like the way that it sounds, as opposed to saying you need to use each 12 in the scale. Right. So like I kind of I early on try to make decisions that I feel like are gonna give me things that are interesting, and then see how it plays out.
So, are the numbers mapped to specific notes? Will 3 always be an E, for example?
Oftentimes with what you just heard, yes.
Okay.
And then, there's endless versions of canons and stacking things and all that. But, in each person's part, whenever you see a 3. And then what I find interesting is oftentimes I talk about composition as, there's the composition part and then the orchestration part. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes I do the composition part and then the orchestration part comes later. And in this, even, on the record we just made, or when we played it live the other day, it was 8 percussionists. In this was the first time we did it with four string players. We changed the key, they're all kind of, I feel like when somebody else takes this on, I kind of hope that they'll solve a Sudoku for themselves and say, oh, let me translate into my own version, In fact, many of the scores start with solve a Sudoku, step 1. Step 2, every time you see a 1, do this. Every time you see a 2, do this. They're kind of instruction scores.
Yeah. Now, so having determined that within a piece, a number will map to a specific note, what about the 9 numbers that make up 9 numbers? Are those like key areas?
The last piece you'll hear today starts to deal with key areas. It's mostly like cycles. I've been thinking more and more about my experience with Balinese and Javanese music and how cyclical that music was. And I only, studied for a couple years and went for 1 summer. But I feel like that kind of cyclical approach to music making really kind of affected the way I compose. So, you get a lot of bars of 9. You get a lot of 9-bar cycles that make up a section, and then a lot of loops of that vibe.
Right. It's interesting you mentioned Balinese, Javanese music, because the interlocking rhythmic patterns of gamelan, whenever the chanting of the numbers occurs, it's not everybody chanting in unison. It's like that hocketing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, we've seen that. Meredith Monk and her ensemble do that so well. And there's something almost mystical about it, because if you're counting really hard, you are going to trip up at some point. You have to, it seems like you just have to be in it, you know?
There's a feel, right? Yeah. There's a feel to it as opposed to a mindset. We were Meredith Monk, I think, is a great touchstone. In a class we were teaching the other day, we listened to some of the Philip Glass, the knee plays from Einstein on the Beach, and just listening to those numbers, it hit me again. Yeah.
The other thing that this album reminded me of a little bit was Caroline Shaw's Pulitzer Prize winning piece, Partita.
Thank you.
Where she has, great piece, where she has incorporated into the various singing techniques the kind of rhythmic speech of the line drawings of Sol LeWitt, the instructions for making his wall paintings. And that kind of blurring between speech and song, between instruction manual and music making, is a really interesting place for the creative process to find itself.
Mentioning Sol LeWitt was absolutely also a touchstone for me too, because it's kind of wild in visual art making or in painting how radical it is to kind of say, here's an instruction manual, you do it. As opposed to in classical music making, it's so kind of conservative to say, here's an instruction manual, go play the score. You know what I mean? To have somebody else do the score. I love this idea of instruction manual. And in fact, the first 9 numbers 1, 9 numbers 2, 9 numbers 3, 9 numbers 6, 9 numbers 9, many of them are just instruction manuals that just have the group make their own version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like Pauline Oliveros' Sonic Meditations, many of which were sets of instructions, as you well know.
Yep. Mine are just longer and more annoying than hers. Hers are more beautiful just to read as text.
So, speaking of Sol LeWitt and the visual arts, there is a visual component to actually the next 2 pieces that you're all going to do. So explain how that ties in.
Yeah, well, the next one actually is very connected. So the cover of the album is a kind of mega translation of these.
Should I do my late night talk show? I'm holding this up for the camera.
I love that.
The 2-record set.
I signed that one for you and just forgot I left it here. But yeah, these are the 9 different kind of 3x3 blocks that make up each of these pieces. And so, you know, much like Sol LeWitt or I just had the chance to check out Jasper John's exhibit at the Whitney Ann down in Philadelphia, and that idea of kind of giving yourself rules and seeing them through. Each of these kind of visual art pieces have rules. Whenever you see a certain number, you fill it in with a certain medium. They're made from newspaper, pastel, chalk, and paint, along with gaff tape, which is just near and dear to percussionist hearts.
Of course.
Yeah, but I do.
1002 uses for gaffer tape.
We just found a new one. But I love the visual and the sonic connection that you can find in these puzzles.
So 9 numbers, number 7 is what we get next. And at this point, aside from you, the other 3 members of So and all 4 members of the Bergamot Quartet are arrayed in front of the stage. There isn't an instrument in sight. So what will you be doing while they're doing their thing?
They'll be speaking. I've never written a piece just for voices, so this is my first choir piece of sorts.
But it's also a percussion piece.
It's definitely more of a percussion piece than a choir. Yeah, absolutely. It's a percussion translation. It's like, translating for the voice as a percussionist. And I will be making one of these collages that are connected to each of these pieces live on stage.
All right. So for those of you watching the live stream, you'll get an overhead shot of the visual part of the performance. And for everyone else, enjoy 9 numbers, number 7 by Jason Treuting, played by So Percussion and the Bergamot String Quartet.
This is a puzzle. The puzzle is. 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 This is a puzzle. This is a puzzle. This is a puzzle. This is a puzzle.
One nine two four five six four five 1 6 8 7 8. Seven, three, four, 9, 8, 1, 8, 1, 5, 6. 6, 5, 7, 1, 7, 1, 9, 1, 9, 6, 2, 5, 4. 2, 4, 7, 9, 5, 5, 1, 2, 4, 1. 3, 8, 6, 6, 1, 7, 4, 7, 6, 5, 9, 2. 9, 1, 5, 5, 8, 3, 9, 9, 7, 9, 1, 7.
1, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8. 1, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8. 1, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8. 1,
4, 7, 6, 9, 5, 3, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 7, 5, 9, 2, 9, 5, 2, 8, 3, 4, 6, 7, 4, 2, 1, 3, 6, 9, 7, 5, 5, 6, 9, 8, 7, 4, 2, 1, 8, 7, 3, 5, 1, 2, 6, 4, 9, 1, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8, 7, 3, 4, 9, 2, 8, 1, 5, 6, 6, 5, 8, 7, 3, 1, 9, 2, 4, 2, 4, 7, 6, 9, 5, 8, 3, 1, 3, 8, 6, 1, 4, 7, 5, 9, 2, 9, 1, 5, 2, 8, 3, 4, 6, 7, 4, 2, 1, 3, 6, 9, 7, 8, 5, 5, 6, 9, 8, 7, 4, 2, 1, 3, 8, 7, 3, 5, 1, 2, 6, 4, 9.
5, 6, 9.
That is number 7. Number 7 from 9 Numbers, a work by composer and percussionist Jason Treuting, moonlighting as a visual artist during that. And I can see why, because what you gave the 7 of them to perform sounded hard.
Yeah, can I say, actually, this was a premiere. This was written and recorded by Percussion and the Troika Trio, Troika Percussion Trio, but we've never done it live. And yeah, I'm happy to be painting. It's a happy place.
I mentioned the other members of Percussion before, but let me thank the members of the Bergamot Quartet. Leda Fink and Sarah Thomas are the violinists. Amy Hui Mei Tan, the violist. Irene Han is the cellist. Although you'll have to take my word for it from what they were just doing there. But they did a great job sort of doing this vocal percussion. So if we looked at a written score for this piece, would we see interlocking patterns, overlapping patterns?
Yeah, it's funny. There's many scores you could look at that would look funky, and this one would look straightforward in terms of, yes, other percussion music that deals with interlocking patterns.
And I noticed that you finished your kind of 9-box visual thing at around the same time that the piece ended. So is the piece always the same length of time? Do you know how long the piece is going to be?
Yeah, I have a sense, and I was thinking about it, actually. I hadn't made this connection to this work, but I've done other work visually that is kind of like a timeline. And I feel like in time-based art with music and other things, sometimes the audience doesn't know how long they're there. I think you all knew when it was about to end. And I think about that as in the way maybe John Cage would, in terms of like, once you know how long you're dealing, you can sit back and be in it.
Right.
So that was one of my hopes with the visual art making.
Now, I'm just checking to make sure that you do, in fact, have a full palette of colors to work with here, because everything you did during number 7 was green.
Yep.
So is there a kind of synesthetic element to this, a connection between numbers and colors?
There is a connection, but it's not synesthetic.
Okay.
The first one is black, the second one's white, the third one's gray, then red, orange, yellow, green, blue,
Okay.
purple. You know, so up on my wall, I'm the only one that has one. If anybody wants one, come talk to me. I love making these. It's just a happy place. And so I've done a series that kind of goes from just the black and white through the colors.
Okay.
And then always with, you'll see here, John, originally they were made with pink gaff tape.
Right.
So the green kind of buzzing against
Is
the
this
pink.
the one that we see in the video on
Yes.
YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
And on the album, yeah.
Yeah.
On the album cover, yeah. But it's kind of, I guess it's not that specific, apparently. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I ran out of pink, got my green.
Are you at all interested, or were you, have you become interested in numerology since taking on this project?
Not in that way. no.
Okay.
But I mean, I think all of the work that I've done in some ways deals with pattern. It's been, I think in some of the past times we've talked, there's been translating words or text into music, finding patterns in words, vowels and consonants. So this has just been a kind of deep dive into numbers.
When So Percussion recorded your first album of compositions, Amid the Noise, in the list of instruments in among the vibes and the marimbas, there were things like synthesizer, and at one point it said fuzz.
I'm sure.
And when number 7 began, it just sounded to me like the oral, the sonic equivalent of fuzz.
Love it. Yeah. It's the S's and the Z's from,
Yeah.
this, zzz.
So
But
that's
Josh
all.
really went for it. Can
Yes,
we say
yes,
that? Josh
yes,
really
he
went for
did.
it. Yeah. That was
And
some
then-
good fuzz. That was some good fuzz.
And then towards the end, Adam has a kind of a triplet figure that stands out from the other patterns until suddenly it's locked in with all the rest. So,
yeah, folks go through, yep.
so this all has to be pretty carefully plotted out. On the other hand, you've already alluded to the fact that it's kind of open scoring. So the notes and the patterns are fixed, but not the forces that will play them, right?
Yeah, the instrumentation, in general, I'm interested with open instrumentation pieces. And actually, this was a bit of a test case, the number 8, doing it with strings and percussion, to kind of see if that really works for us. There's other ones that we've kind of tried out like that. But I'm really interested in the idea that the notes are really what it was about, and the instruments can go many places.
All right, now, what is... Number 4 seems to occupy a kind of a special place in 9 numbers. It's big, it's subdivided into different sections. What are we going to hear tonight?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's actually also was released separately as a single from the album. Turns out you can't fit 9 numbers on a double LP. You can only fit 8 numbers. So 4 kind of stands alone. But it is a bigger piece. It's in 3 movements with an introduction, kind of 4 movements. You'll hear it's scored for 2 vibraphones and 2 marimbas. And it kind of goes from slow, medium to fast is kind of the trajectory in some ways. I was telling you earlier backstage, this is a virtuosic piece for us. This is one that, this is the first in the series of 9 that I went from instruction scores to writing things down and moving notes around much quicker. And notation is wonderful and can lead you into trickier spaces.
Yeah.
So when you were asking, does a 3 always mean the same thing? You'll kind of be in these sections where for 9 bars, a 3 always means the same thing, and then we move somewhere else. So it kind of moves around quicker in some ways, and tries to explore, especially on the vibes, but also on the marimbas, different ways to get sound out of these instruments. So there'll be bowing, there'll be striking, there'll be rolling with soft mallets, dead strokes, many kind of different sounds out of one instrument.
And what is the visual component here?
Yes. When this project started, I tried to make visual components for most all of the pieces. One of them has this painting. Actually, I'm very excited. Number 2 is a choreography by Susan Marshall. She choreographed a duo for me and my partner, Beth, that we do. So they all go in different spaces. And a wonderful composer, singer, artist, Raquel Acevedo-Klein, made these animations, kind of putting the sound into her visual world and translating that into these beautiful animations.
So you gave her the score or a recording of the score.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
this was her response.
Absolutely.
Okay, so once again, folks here in the Greene Space and watching on the live stream will get a chance to see and hear what's happening, and of course we'll be posting all of this on the New Sounds YouTube channel as well for everyone else. So, are we ready to hear what parts of number 4?
We're gonna do all of it, John.
All of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intro and 3 movements.
All right. We rate. Here once again is So Percussion. This time it's just So Percussion with number 4 from 9 numbers.
A. Z, A, Z. Z, A, Z, O. Z. Z, O. Z, O, Z. Z, O, Z. 1,
9, 2,
4,
5, 6,
3,
7, 8,
7,
3,
4, 9,
2, 8,
1,
5, 6,
2,
5,
8, 7,
3,
1,
1,
9,
2,
4,
2,
4,
7,
6,
9, 5,
8,
3, 1,
3,
8, 6,
1,
4, 7,
5,
9, 2,
9,
1,
5,
2,
2,
3,
4,
6,
7,
4,
2,
1,
3,
6,
9,
7,
8,
5,
5,
6, 9,
8,
7,
4,
2,
1,
3,
8,
7,
3, 5,
1, 2,
6,
4, 9.
That is So Percussion playing Jason Treuting's number 4 from the piece called 9 Numbers. So interesting that at the beginning, in the introduction to number 4, we hear S and Z and and it makes sense. We know where those phonemes come from. This is a puzzle. So even without saying it, you know, it's kind of like referring back to things that we've heard before.
That's my hope, yep.
And then Raquel Acevedo-Klein did the visuals, very abstract but very pattern-based, which seems like an apt description of this music, somewhat ironically because you're using the most fundamental building blocks of how we communicate with you, numbers
Yeah.
and phonemes, right?
Yeah.
So does this feel like, I mean, number 4 especially, does this feel like you just saying, yeah, I'll take all the rhythms. Give them to me all at once. Just like Sudoku, you need to have all 9 numbers, you know, before you get to anything else.
Well, you know what's fun with this one? I mean, we deal so much oftentimes with 12, right? West African music so much of the time deals with different ways to deal with 12, 3s and 4s. And I've tried to take that idea and put it into 15 and put it into other spaces. And this just 9 felt like it just came on a platter, you know? So in the second part of this, I feel like I'm trying to see some of that influence of the 2/3, 4/3 kind of hemiolas, like those kind of polyrhythms, but deal within this world of 9. But what you were saying about the speaking, you know, we changed the intro depending on what order we play them in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if this one was first, we would absolutely say this is a puzzle.
Right,
But
but
now I
because
think
you did
everybody,
8 before.
yeah, everybody's like, please don't say that again. You know, I've heard that enough. But my hope is that at some moment, you know, maybe when Josh starts to bow the marimba, maybe it doesn't even feel, you know, the term musical is so rough for me, but it doesn't even feel necessarily like we're in a piece of music yet. And hopefully at some moment, you know, you're drawn into, okay, here we are in this sound world, let's see where it goes.
It is, you know, we talked before about walking that line between speech and music, and between abstract and concrete sound is also a line that these pieces walk really beautifully. 9 Numbers is the name of it, the latest from Percussion, music by Jason Treuting, and featuring the rest of the group, of course, Adam Slawinski, Josh Quillen, Eric Cha Beach. Guys, thank you all so much for being here with us on the Greene Space stage.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you all.
And because we're having so much fun doing these Soundcheck podcast sessions live, we're going to do another one on Tuesday, May 3rd with the English rock band Porridge Radio. We'll have members of that band on this stage, very different sound, different type of music, but more live fun. I hope you can join us then. In the meantime, watch for the videos of this performance on the New Sounds YouTube channel. Thank you all for being here live and on the live stream. We'll see you next time. Good night.